Speaking of fresh, nothing I love to talk with Tony Elliott more about besides football than shoes, because it is always a shoe conversation with this guy, and he is bringing it today. And these are so cool. Your guys have them on too, and then they have a Virginia tie. If Virginia fans are watching, Jay Huff, one of their star basketball players from a few years ago, his wife Lindsay does these, and she did them all for you, Coach. What's on yours? They're all personalized.
Oh, it's shout out to Lindsay. She did an unbelievable job of using her talent as an artist to tell a story. And so you mentioned that December 10th was the date I was hired.
Yeah.
So on the side, it says December 10th, the transition from Clemson to Virginia. And then it's got basically the foundational core values of our program. We talk about building the student athlete from the inside out, so serving his heart. On the inside, my desire is to build the model program in college football, be the example. Then I got my household right here with the wife and the boys on there, and then just kind of my journey as an engineer. A student athlete to an engineer to a coach. So it just kind of tells a story of my journey to Virginia, and each one of the players has a similar theme to their shoes.
So incredibly cool. I can't wait to tell Lindsay that mine can say like July 21st, the day that I heard about her today. Pack has a pair of shoes.
Pack has a pair.
I mean, we're just small pebbles over here.
Lindsay did some for the Packer and Durham show, so Wes and I have a pair. But I wouldn't put them on. I was like, those are going to be like display items.
Right.
And the funny thing is, my youngest daughter, Emerson, is an artist. And the day that we unveiled those on Packer and Durham, I'd put them on the kitchen counter. And when Emerson came home, she came home for the weekend, she's like, Dad, these are so cool. So she's the artist. I said, well, Lindsay Huff did them. So she goes, did you have a card? I said, yeah, here's Lindsay's card. So she said, oh, she's looked up on the website. So they are cool. They're trendy. So they're really spectacular.
And they're top notch too. Just the detail, the unbelievable amount of time that she put into them, and she covers them with a clear coat. Man, it's awesome. She's gonna be busy. So Lindsay, get ready. Everybody loves your shoes.
She did it with Chester and Fuller, and I'm telling you, it looked like a snapshot. it's not like I'm over there slapping something like Picasso. It's really first class. Nice job.
Every artist can tell a story, and it's a great story, right?
It's a great story.
Well, on that note, what's the story you hope we tell about your team when this is all said and done this year?
When it's all said and done, that you see a group of guys that love playing the game. They play for each other. They play the right way. They're committed to the process. And hopefully that'll result in success on the field. But you see something different about these guys, that they're playing for the love of the game. They're playing for each other.
Coach, I'm a Hokie. So
it's all good. You were a very, very good Hokie, too.
Thank you.
Got to give props where props are due.
Thank you. I can't say that I like UVA, but I love you. I love what you're bringing to the table. The press conference was awesome.
Right.
Talking about change, you were an offensive coordinator. This offense was amazing, setting records. How much is that going to change?
It's going to look different because I think that we're building an offense for the program, and not just necessarily this one season. But there's also some components that I think that's going to improve the offense's ability to be efficient. I think that Brennan had an outstanding season, throwing the football. But there wasn't a commitment to running the ball, and we're going to be committed to running the football and being balanced. I think that you have to be balanced in order to win championships. I think you have to run the football to be able to help your defense develop the mentality that they need to stop the run. Because at the end of the day, in my experience, you win games running the ball and stopping the run. And then obviously the passing components are there, but we got to get back to the basics. And in order to, and I have a vision of where we're going, and I've seen it, and to be able to compete where we want to go, you got to be able to win in the trenches. You got to be able to run the ball, stop the run, and protect the pass.
I understand that, but you got the best receiving coordination. See that, Coach? Come on, we receivers. You got to throw the ball, man. Come on.
We're going to do whatever it takes to win.
Okay.
Right. But the mindset is,
better.
Philosophically, we're changing the mindset. And you saw us at Clemson too. Man, we had unbelievable receivers and threw the ball, but we were also very balanced. And I think that when you go back and look, the transition was when we became balanced and we were able to win in the trenches. And then all of the skill guys on the perimeter, including the tight ends, were able to really come forward and do the things that they were able to do.
Speaking of Clemson, your old boss was sitting in that chair yesterday, and he brought you up and is proud of you, obviously. And I know you guys talk all the time, but you're going to put your own stamp of approval on what you're going to do, taking some of those philosophies. But what did old Dabo tell you about today coming into to something like this, meeting with the media, and everybody's undefeated, feeling good about life?
Yeah, he didn't tell me anything.
Nothing.
You know,
Maybe
he said, basically,
Maybe
without
yeah.
saying anything, he said, son, you got to figure this one out on your own. He said, look, you should have been paying attention. You know, when you saw me come back from media day and saw how tired I was, you should have known. You better be ready.
Pace yourself.
But nah, he's unbelievable, and I can't thank him enough. And I wouldn't be sitting here without the sacrifices and the decisions that he made to help me develop, and then including me in not just the football aspect of it, but every other aspect of the program.
When we saw you for the spring game, you told us, like, Coach, what's it been like? What's the biggest surprise? And you're like, oh, the media stuff. Everybody needs my time. Everybody wants to talk to me. I mean, it's just different. But the other thing that I really took away from your spring game, Coach, not even with what happened on the field. I was sitting there with Roddy Jones before the game, and I'm like, this feels like a real game. The guys were so excited.
Right.
The fans were there. Y'all had a good crowd. But you could just tell the energy about the program was different. What's been the biggest key to kind of getting that energy back in this program?
At the end of the day, it's all about the players. I mean, the reason we're there as coaches and as an athletic department is about the student athletes. So it's all about their experience and focusing on what the environment that they need to be special and to play to the highest level. So it's really been a focus on getting back to the basics of whatever these players need to be successful. And obviously they don't run the program, right? But the program is focused on, helping them become the best version of themselves. So I think, what you're seeing is that now they're realizing that there's a genuine investment in the holistic approach of developing the student athlete. And I think as they learn more about themselves in areas outside of football, it makes them a better football player because it puts it in perspective, and then they can get back to playing for the love of the game. And you know this, as you ascend to the different levels of football, it becomes more business-like. And it is a business, but I want these players at the collegiate level to still be about the pageantry, the tradition, and just the love of the game and love of their teammates. And if they're fortunate enough to go to the NFL, then they can deal with all the business aspect of it when they get there.
Yeah. I want to ask you about Biscuit. Your receivers, you laugh because you know.
Yeah, I know Biscuit.
Your wide receivers coach, Marcus
Yeah.
Higgins. Why was it so important to keep him on staff?
So one of the things that I wanted to do, because the transition was unique, Broncos stepped down. It wasn't like the administration was looking to make a change. He just made a personal decision. So I was very, very, cognizant of that, and I wanted to give credible people an opportunity to be retained because the program wasn't broken, right? And so I listened to the players, and I listened to the folks around the building, and the first name that came out of everybody's mouth was Marcus Higgins.
Wow.
And so I said, man, I got to meet this guy and see what he's all about. And then, once you meet him, at first you're like, man, dude can't be that. Like, he can't be that nice. He can't be that sincere. He can't be that genuine.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, he's one of the most sincere, most genuine, humble individuals that I've ever been around. And so not only was it important for me to retain him, but to promote him to associate head coach.
Wow.
Because, he's been there, 11, I think maybe close to 11 years or so, 10 years. And he is Virginia.
Yeah.
And even though, I have a vision of where I want the program to go, I didn't walk the grounds. I didn't play in Scott Stadium. I knew that experience at Clemson, and so I needed his guidance. I needed his support and him walking alongside me to help me understand, what Virginia truly is, so that we build a program that's unique to UVA and not just a duplicate of where I was coming from at Clemson. So it was critical that, he was the number one player amongst the administration, the staff, and the players of individuals that I needed to retain.
Coach, you know about the intensity of the rivalry at the Palmetto State.
Yep.
As a player, as a coach. Now you walk into the Commonwealth, and you got a little heat already. You already got a taste of the Hokies right there. Yeah. But it's going to be intriguing for all of us to watch two new coaches who are going to be arch rivals in a state that produces terrific, really big-time high school talent. You knew that when you were at Clemson.
Yep.
And to watch both these schools try to put the wall up to say, guess what? No Clemson, no North Carolina, no Penn State, no anybody else. They're trying to keep these kids home.
Right.
Talk about that intensity and how important it's going to be. And we'll have Brent Pryor on later, and I'm going to ask him the same question. Of being able to keep home kids home, because the state produces great talent.
So it was refreshing to first day that you meet somebody and you start to meet, people affiliated with the program, and they tell you, hey, all you got to win is one game. That's the end of the season, right? Beat Virginia Tech.
That, yeah.
So, right. So that was like, okay, this is what I wanted to be a part of, because I think in order for you to build a program and to aspire to be a champion, you got to have a worthy rival, right? And your rivals make you better. So it was awesome to see that it's that intense, because then now when you put up the walls, the kids are playing for something, you know, that they know what they're playing for. I grew up in South Carolina. The line was divided. You made your decision early on, and you stuck with it, right? And
it's personal.
It was personal, and so it was awesome. It was awesome to see that. I didn't know that about, you know, the rivalry, you know, coming from outside the state. So actually, it's like you said. I think Brent and I got to work together to rejuvenate, right, and make it competitive to where it's not one-sided all the time, but it's really truly competitive, so we can put the walls up and tell these guys to stay at home. And I think what has happened is, you know, over time, you know, some other programs outside the states have elevated, right? But I think that we have everything that we need at both institutions to be able to keep our players at home, and that's been a priority for me. And I got work to do. I know I got a lot of work to do, and right now some of the more marquee names are coming from his side. You know, they identify a little bit better with those guys. But also I think that the institutions are different, so that, you know, we'll recruit the same guys, but then there'll also be a perfect fit for those guys. And for me, it's all about finding guys that are a right fit for UVA, because the rivalry is big, but it's not the most important thing to me. It's about the development of the young people. But I want them to have that experience. But I want them to take pride. You know, that's really what it comes down to, that you take pride in where you're from. And Biscuit, that's why I kept Biscuit, because Biscuit has, you know, unbelievable pride in his institution. And that's really what it's supposed to be about. That's what college football is supposed to be about, because ultimately wherever you make a decision to go, that's part of you, right? You can meet your wife there, right? A lot of things that some major, you know, accomplishments are going to be tied to that institution, and you need to take pride in that. And our job now as a staff is to reinvigorate, you know, that pride, because there's a lot of things to be proud about at UVA and also at Virginia Tech.
Yeah. We were talking earlier about Coastal Chaos with the divisions going away next year, and talking about favorite memories. And in recent memory, I think mine was that Virginia Tech game, which I'm sorry to bring it up in front of you. I'm happy to bring it up in front of you now. When Virginia won just in 2019.
It rarely happens, so you can have that one. Enjoy.
With that, Coach, we want to say thank you for the time. Looking forward to seeing all that you accomplished with Virginia this year and the years to come. We appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
All right.